I hate when my leg's full of kangaroo.
Yeah, I know. It's like you got this problem, you're filled with kangaroo, and you're like, oh no, my kangaroo. Anyway, hi, welcome everybody. I totally forgot I had a new battery for this stupid mouse because I think the battery's dying, but I didn't bring it up with me because I'm forgetful. Anyway, hi, yeah, welcome to Discussing Tabletop. We technically did talk about tabletop somewhere in this entire thing that we do. It's in there.
And kangaroo boxing.
Yeah, I mean, that came up too. If you didn't know, we did look into the history of kangaroo boxing. Why? Because we could.
Because
Anyway.
we're strange people.
That's not a falsity. Anyway, we have an interesting little bits of information to talk about today. I wanted to start us out with talking a little bit about how Magic is already on to Core Set 2021. I'll just say this one, to like off the bat before we dive into it. It seems too soon, just with how the schedule was with them. But we'll talk about that. PaizoCon and Paizo itself has a bunch of interesting announcements we want to talk about. Cosmic Encounter Duel by Fantasy Flight. Tales from the Loop, the RPG, has a starter set coming up. For Fluxx, there's a Spongebob Fluxx. So something that I guess it's like...
It's for kids.
It's for kids, but also, like, I can see, like, because it's been on for a billion years, some, like, maybe younger adults having some nostalgia for it enough to get into it. Or stoners.
I just want to have to collect Barnacle Boy and Merman.
Yeah.
For the win.
Yes. Didn't one of them pass away, though?
Yeah, because
they were very old voice actors, yes.
Well, because they were it was the original Batman and Robin.
No.
It was the original Batman, I know.
No, it wasn't Adam West.
Well, he was one of them, I thought.
No, it wasn't Adam West at all. I think it was, like, the original,
Lord?
It was the original Odd Couple, I think is what it was supposed to be.
No, it wasn't the original Odd Couple, because he was... the one guy's been dead for a long time.
Now I have to look this up. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. I want to see who do their voices. Ernest Borgnine and Tim Conway.
Oh. I was way off then.
Yeah. Burt Ward did a young version of Barnacle Boy, apparently.
Okay.
Anyway, now that that's slightly...
Oh, they both previously starred in the McKay's Navy? Wow. Okay.
McHale's Navy, yeah. They did some other stuff together, I have to remember. But yeah. Oh, yeah, it was Ernest Borgnine. And Tim Conway just died last year. Oh, man. So they both passed away, the originals for that one there.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, as I was distracted horribly by that, Cryptazoic Con II, which I want to talk about, like, is there too many online cons then? Because we're getting yet another one there from the same company. And finally, there's a Ticket to Ride, a stay-at-home kind of expansion that's put to play. Alright, why don't we start at the top of the order, which, I mean, this is just one I wanted to kind of bring up because it feels like it's an odd choice, because core sets usually in Magic are a lot less fanfare. But they have their fanfare period, which is their spoiler season. The problem is, we're in their spoiler season for M21, or 2021, now, right after Ikoria came out a few weeks ago. So, Ikoria was their big set for, like, the spring season. They delayed it because of the virus. It feels like it's, like, sticking a step away from it already.
Yeah. It is kind of rushed to... I mean, it's not even close to the end of the year.
It's like you put off Ikoria a month. You know, because normally there's, like, a cooling off period, like a month and a half or something, and then you get into, like, your spoiler season for the next thing. You know, there's a time period. Even if you shorten that I still feel like you're rushing it out at this point in time just to get back to a normal schedule. That's what it feels like, is they're attempting to get back to a normal schedule. And granted, like, Ikoria, it's interesting. There were some interesting things about it. Like, you know, I've heard mixed bags from people how they say they like it or not, but at least it's not, like, one that's horribly panned. There have been plenty of Magic sets that have been like that one. But if you're taking a step away from it like this, what is that going to do for its legacy at this point in time? To so quickly move away from it. I don't know.
Yeah, and already would be releasing spoilers for it. I mean...
let me see when the exact date that Core Set 2021 is supposed to be coming out. Because, if it's on the schedule now, it's set for July 3rd. Okay.
Okay.
Normally, as I said, spoilers start from about a month away. You know? They because if the full release is the July 3rd, then the week before that will be the pre-release, and usually, like, about a week before then, they're fully spoiled. You know.
I didn't even realize that Core Set would be out so soon for 2021, but I don't keep up on the timeline as well.
For me, in my mind, because, like, I do have a little bit of idea of it, it's like, I know there's normally, when you get down to it for Magic, there's 4 set releases a year, which it sounds like a lot, and it technically is, but usually they're spread out like every 3 months, and it's kind of been that way for like a decade now, pretty steadily, at very least, if not longer. I don't know when they started the 4 release a year for like main expansions and core sets and stuff.
Yeah. It just sounds weird, 2021 coming out in mid-2020. It's like a car release.
The core sets always mention the next year. I think it was when they moved away from calling it 5th edition or 9th or 10th edition. When they moved on from that and they stopped core sets for a while, they came back with it's M blah blah blah, which was always the next year. M10 was technically the first one. So they did me...
They've been doing it for 10 years? Well, 11 years.
Technically not, because they missed 16, 17, and 18, because they had 3 years of not having them for a while. Interestingly enough. Because they had Origins also, as their M16, they had Origins. Mm-hmm. And then they were 2 years of being nothing. And then they're like, oh wait, people like core sets because they are a good place for reprints and for beginners. Oh, that makes it good for our game to have a good way in for beginners and for reprints.
They're reprinting Chandra.
They're reprinting. Well, I don't know it's actual reprint or a new version of it too, because freaking how many versions of Chandra have they had? A billion. Yeah. The only thing I know about is there are a couple of ones in here that are actually good reprints. Just for a quick Grim Tutor. I didn't know until I saw something earlier this week. It's a $200 card and they're reprinting it normally right now. Wow. Yeah. I'm that's kind of needed. I'm sorry. Yeah. When the secondary market gets into triple digits, unless it's a very old card, I feel that is one of the ones that they will never reprint, and they've literally said they'll never reprint. Goddamn reprint it, so it drops the price. I understand. We're not going to print Moxes anymore. We're not going to do Black Lotuses anymore. And all those kind of cards like that. Great!
Well, yeah, anything that's in the banned section isn't going to get printed again.
But even there's a couple of cards that are back from those old days that they're we're not going to reprint. Yeah. And I understand that. That's fine. But there's just some, there's some bloat in there, too. But, there's some couple other, cards that I know in here, Azusa Lost But Seeking, which I actually use in some of my Legacy decks that's getting a reprint. Great! It's not that expensive, but, it was expensive enough. So cool. Reprints, it's a good thing. And I just, so early in the season, we don't know what's going to be in the thing, but I kind of again, I wanted to bring it up because it's just not a good point.
God. There's
also,
a card I haven't seen in a while.
Which one?
Pyroblast.
God. And Tanos' Crypt. The one where you sacrifice and exile cards from target player's graveyard. That's a classic. I think that's from Dark. And
I also love the quote on Pyroblast. Told you it felt.
There's certainly some very nice things that'll probably end up in here. For reprints, and probably a few newish cards here too. Yeah. But also apparently there's supposed to be like a billion versions of Teferi in this one, like various different types of promos of him and something. I think someone said there's over 20 that are going to be associated with this, and I'm like, why? What? So we will talk about this more as we're getting closer and we understand more of what's going on with this. But apparently, like, the entire thing is here. Spoiler season from it has come. There's some weird problems with it, and it's probably too soon. Magic. It seems like, unfortunately, we've been pulling a Steve Jackson Games with them and complaining just a little bit.
Yeah.
Which literally, though, Steve Jackson Games, we haven't talked about them because, like, there have been a couple things that have come up for them. None of them seem awful. Like, there's just, like, some basic Munchkin expansions that aren't, like, super interesting. Like, a third Pathfinder expansion for their Munchkin Pathfinder. Like, another Unicorns thing. And they're like, okay, these are neat, but they're not, like, super engaging. They haven't done shit that's really awful lately. Good on them. Good work, Steve Jackson Games. You're back in the saddle for decentness, I guess. Congrats.
Woo. They get a cookie.
They get a cookie for not being stupid or jerks. For a while.
But I'm gonna be nice. They get 2 cookies.
Oh, sweet, man. You know, I still want cookies. Because last night I was talking about cookies. And
you get no cookies.
I have cookies, I just have to make them. But I think I'm supposed to make brownies before I make cookies, and I've been lazy either way. So maybe I will make brownies and cookies at some point in time.
I eat your cookies.
No, you don't get them. Go back to your own... it's not quarantine anymore, it's curfew.
Corn curfew.
Yeah. Go back to your corn curfew.
Fine, give them all to your niece.
That will be effective. There'll be so many short trips.
Yeah.
That's also true. Alright. So let's move on, though, because PaizoCon had a bunch of announcements. That was actually... it's pretty good for positioning for that. But they threw out a bunch of announcements of things, a couple of very interesting experiments. Of course, they filled people more in about stuff in the Advanced Player's Guide, which is coming out at the end of July, but we've talked about that one before. A couple of more interesting things. The Beginner's Box for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, they talked about that a little bit. So, 2 big things. First off, they're doing an adventure path. They're actually doing 2 adventure paths. Now you're saying, like, oh, they do adventure paths all the time. No. These are 2 3-part adventure paths. Which is different than normal, because normally an adventure path is 6 adventures.
Right.
Now, they are saying, like, the nature of how these are, after they, like, one will end up at 10th level, and the other begins at 10th level. So you could move on from one to the other. They will be separate kind of entire adventures, but you could connect them together, or you could play them separately. Like, you could just build 10th level characters and dive into the second one. You know?
Right, you could have 2 mini adventures.
Yeah. So that's actually kind of interesting, and I feel like maybe some more of this would be good, because the adventure paths are fun. They're just gigantic.
Yeah. Sure. When you're doing 6 in a row like that, it does take a long time.
Yeah, it takes quite a while to run through it. And so it's both interesting and like, well, you know, we'll see about that. Now, here's another both interesting and like, isn't a little soon. Bestiary 3 was announced for next year in March 2021. I mean, I guess because, like, if we look back at Pathfinder 1st Edition, they had this, over all the years, not only did they have their bestiaries, they had a lot of supplemental materials that had monsters in, so I can understand that there are, like, a massive selection of iconic Pathfinder monsters that they've had now that maybe they're looking to redo. Like, I love using clip-offs sometimes, because, like, they're kind of demons, except worse in a way, because they're just more...
What about clip-ons?
Yeah, ties. They're more chaotic. They don't have the same control as a demon, which is a really odd thing to say. But I don't use them very often. But I've used them a couple of times. It'd be neat to have them, restatted and stuff for Pathfinder 2nd.
That's probably why they're coming out with them the B series so quickly, is they're probably trying to just be like, okay, we're updating all our old monsters and trying to get them out to people. So, if you to try to entice people who are still playing Pathfinder 1E, and you're like, hey, look, we're trying to make everything that you had in Pathfinder 1E somewhat available in Pathfinder 2E.
And it gives you more options, too. Like, that's the thing is, like, when, well, that was one of those interesting things when I was first doing Madness of the Land, when I was first writing it up, and, I was doing it for Pathfinder 1st Edition. The monster list was really good. That was one of the problems I had when I converted it over to D&D, is, like, they don't have any more monster manuals. That's one of the things that I really would like for them to do in 5th edition, is, like, another monster manual. I'm sorry. They sort of throw in monsters in some of their other supplements, but it's not a lot of them, Or it's, like, groups of monsters. Cool. I love learning about alternate versions of Illithids and Beholders, or, like, specialized versions of Orcs I could use. Great! I just want a monster manual. I really would like a monster manual, too. The monster manual in 5th edition is good, but it doesn't have everything. And there's a lot of big gaps in D&D lore that I would love for them to add in. So that's why as much as it's like, well, the 3rd one's coming out pretty soon, I'm actually not against it, And, like, for them to go through a lot of their older monsters quickly is probably a good idea, because maybe they can go up to a bestiary 4 or 5 over the years and get newer monsters then, too. And the last thing that they're doing is an Ancestries guide. It's a race guide. Like, they did stuff like this in the original Pathfinder, like the Advanced Race Guide. That's what this is, but they call it the Ancestry Guide.
Right.
I think it's doing things like, they're adding in... The list they have is androids, genie, kitsune, and a few other ones.
Well, so that'll make Blaze happy.
Catfolk. Because Catfolk in Pathfinder and Tabaxi in D&D. I didn't know androids were as popular, but I knew, like, about them because they were supposed to be, like, not necessarily Starfinder. There had Pathfinder versions of them because they were supposed to be from one of those ancient civilizations that fell, that, was able to create, like... It's like Pathfinder's version of Warforged, almost. Except, I think, a little bit more robot-y.
You find data.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh no, Data's head in a cave.
Yeah. And Paizo's trying to do stuff to help out their organized play, too. Things like, they're updating their PDF versions of some of their accessories, like the card decks and stuff, to have them be higher quality and more... You can implement them into things like Roll20 a lot easier. So I think that's another cool thing that they're doing, because, like, they've always kind of been online, but now they're kind of trying to dive deeper into it. More power to them, So Paizo's doing some great things, some interesting things. It's that odd place where I do like Pathfinder 2nd edition, but also I'm wondering, like, how much is this going to be good, where they're going to lead for it, and, like, do I like Pathfinder 2nd edition more than I like Pathfinder 1st edition? Ooh, that's a tough one. That's actually a very tough one. I guess I have to say I don't think I do like it more. But,
Huh. And I also put a list of conventions that they're going to be at and what the convention statuses are.
yeah, that was good of them, too, to, like, kind of give an update on what they know for conventions. Because that's another thing, like, it can be hard to get all that information. Like, there's just, like, such conventions in question right now that, like, we don't even know if there's going to be anything convention-wise in any format till the end of the year. You know, that's a problem for a lot of these conventions. And, like, some of them that haven't canceled. Like, as I think we were talking about the other week, how, like, Origins, great. You know, and Gen Con, great. They're all canceled. And even, like, Eschen Spiel, the big, like, German one, great. They canceled. Others, like, PAX West.
Well, Origins
PAX
it canceled the live, but they're doing it online.
Oh, well, Gen Con too, I think. Like,
same with Gen Con. So, I mean, but that's an important difference.
Yeah, they're... Again, like, the situation will never be the same. It's not... For, like, a big convention like that, it certainly will not be the same. But it's good to know that they're doing something with it. I think, like, they will be doing some stuff related to, like, Origins online and Gen Con online, you know. They'll be doing stuff with them this year, even though, like, the actual convention's been canceled.
Yeah. Actually, they don't list Gen Con as something...
They talk about it specifically in an update where they talk about, like, Gen Con.
Because in the convention listing, they don't have that one listed.
Yeah, right, it's not in their main schedule. They just, like, are waiting to see for that one kind of thing because they're going straight to online. And I think it's, like, it's less that maybe they're going to have big events there, and maybe more that they're going to have, like, just some stuff related to it.
Well, today is Paizo Game Day online, apparently.
What the hell does that mean?
Well, they were supposed to have a Paizo Game Day in Indianapolis, and it's online today.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And then the next one is 3XP Online, which is UK convention. That's going to be on the 13th. Then, of course, Origins is on the 19th.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because Gen Con Online is still being organized, they don't have it listed there because they don't know how much.
Because they don't have a date yet and everything.
I think they do have a date, but it's also like, they don't know. If you don't know how involved you can be in it, that's the other thing too.
You're not going to put it on your page of listings.
Yeah, so that could get updated. Like, because Origins is coming up, well, a couple weeks from now, they're much more involved with Origins. Yeah, they're much more involved with it. While
they probably have a set schedule already.
Yeah, Gen Con is like I think end of July, early August.
Yeah.
And they're
probably still figuring things out with them.
And they just opened online registration for people that want to be participating in. Which you do have to online register if you want to participate in that. I think we've mentioned that before.
If you want to do a lot of the events.
Mm-hmm. There are a couple that are just postponed, which I don't mean if they're canceled till the next year, or if they're just trying to...
they just say postponed, like Lexicon, Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture, and 1D4 Con.
Which we'll have to see how those go. Again, like, there's a couple big ones that are just in the convention circuit that I'm just going to be interested to see what happens with them.
1D4 Con was originally scheduled for 10/30/2020.
Yeah. Well,
and it's already postponed.
It makes me worry on, like, the plus side of, like, can a big con plan for return? And I think that's why, like, a lot of these conventions are pushing off, either to push it later than they were going to do or canceling it till next year, because they don't want to deal with the hassle.
Yeah. I mean, I think at this point where everyone is, they should just either cancel or do online, just plan for that this year, and then try to go back to normalcy next year.
Oh yeah, no. I think that is a better idea. But
instead of waiting to like a month beforehand going, hey!
Well, again, like, Gen Con, canceled, like, you know, a little later than they should have, I think. Like, still, it was only 2 months ahead of time, I think, about, for them canceling, which isn't bad, but it's still, like...
That's what I'm saying, is I think it would make more sense just to...
Say it now.
Say it ahead of time. Just say, hey, you know what? Things are going a lot slower than we thought. There's a good chance that we wouldn't be able to do it. We're just going to change our gears now. So no one is, you know, messed up last minute.
Yeah. I don't know. You know, there's things like the last time we heard from like PAX West. That's one that, like, again, it's more video game, but there's a big tabletop contender into it. Like, it's like, I've been to PAX East. PAX East is mostly video games, but there's a good section of tabletop there, you know, and it's the same way for West. It's not like PAX Unplugged. They have not said anything since April. That was their update. You know.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think at this point, they should just say, sorry.
Again, like...
But...
If they match Gen Con and wait until, like, right at the beginning of July and then say something, I'm not going to be angry at them. You know, overall. I'll still think, like, you probably should have actually said this a little earlier anyway. But if you're waiting for that long, great. But by then, you gotta, like, figure something out. You know? And maybe... if you're trying to be experimental and try to figure out something a little different, okay, cool, go ahead and try to. If it's like if you want to put in the extra work and come up with like a different kind of convention that is going to be controlled more, I don't know how the hell you do it, like a physical one that would have a lot of, like, you know, we're not shoving all together and stuff like that.
Right.
Cool. Figure it out, but. I don't know. So the convention schedule, just, you know, they also have that for Paizo if you're looking into that. Paizo. Conventions. All of them just kind of just weird and messed up a little bit. But we'll see. Alright, so Fantasy Flight had something that was a little bit interesting on their docket that they were talking about. It's been a while since we talked about anything Fantasy Flight, I think. Mainly because they kind of chug along on the most of the stuff they do. And nothing really usually, like, brings me up. Cosmic Encounters Duel. That's their kind of game that they've got out for pre-order. So, it's... they got some basic information about it. I have no idea how many players it's supposed to be, because they don't tell you that much. And I can't see it on this box here.
For what? Oh.
I guess 2 players, because it's a dual game? That makes sense?
Probably.
Like, as soon as I started talking about it, I'm like, oh wait, you know, that's obvious. Though, I have to say, some of those kind of like 2 players games sometimes do account for like having like an even number of people and doing like teams. So it's not an impossibility. It could be like 2 or 4 players, or like two 4 players, and they have the idea of like 2 sides. Again, I don't know because they don't. Oh, it is a standalone game for 2 players. Okay, stay safe for now. First to control 5 planets, colorful ships, hidden tactics, aliens' unique abilities, tip the odds in your favor. Basic kind of stuff. With temperature
trying to join the Cosmic Citizenship Council.
Ooh. By murdering the other people. I mean...
well, there's only one position open right now.
Snap! Murder the other people and get the position.
Be the last empire standing. And I sent a dolphin in its spacesuit after you.
There are some very interesting looking like cards and art style, definitely, for this entire thing. It's
dolphin in spacesuit with a jetpack.
Yeah, that's just kind of awesome. I mean,
and I sent Krabby after you too.
Uh-huh.
and whatever the weird plant tentacle thing is.
Sure.
Prime.
Optimus?
It doesn't look very optimized.
So this is coming out on June 19th. Again, it's like they're saying 2 players. I assume that's just going to be the basic. It's just keeping it to a 2-player game. And as I say for most 2-player games that we ever talk about on this show, it has to win you over for a couple of different things for it to be worth it to you. Because sometimes it's hard just to be 2 players. Unique style. I think this wins on the unique style, I have to say.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
And it's got a very interesting art style for, like, the aliens and stuff, too. They're a little crazy, in a good way.
Yes.
It has to be the kind of right price. We don't know its pricing point yet. So
actually, I just saw it. Hold on.
Okay. Maybe
$39.95.
Oh, you're right. $39.95. Maybe that's not completely outside the realm of insanity for that one.
No.
And then the game itself has to be fun. We don't know the rules or anything like that for now. So I think, like, is the game itself fun? We haven't hit that part. So, but hey, it kind of checks 2 out of 3 boxes on, like, for 2-player games. So, it's interesting. I think it's one that I would say keep an eye out, especially, like, in this time period where it's I guess it's a little easier to get 2 players in a place if you are not alone in the darkness, hiding in a corner. Or if you want to be alone in darkness, hiding in the corner with maybe just one other person. I don't know. I've lost my mind here. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm alone with one other person.
Oh, look. I was going to say...
Are they dead? Just me and my corpse over here.
We're playing some Cosmic Encounter Duel.
Somehow he's beating me.
Your turn. He's so good at this.
No. It's a volleyball with a face painted on it.
It's Warson. It's like Wilson, only it's
no.
not.
It's an alternate universe where Voight Company got the promotion there, so his name's Voight now. Voight! Doesn't quite work as well.
Yes. I'm just gonna go along with that and say yes. So Cosmic Encounter Duel. You might want to check it out. It definitely it draws the eye in.
Yeah.
We'll say.
The box art looks awesome. I like the double-headed Devly dude on the box.
Yeah. They have like a and like then there's like Space Dragon too. That's like right there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of neat.
Who doesn't love a good Space Dragon? Maybe I'll have you guys fight one.
I mean, with you, I would not discern that it could not be happen. Wait, English?
It could not be happen?
Sure, English. English work well good now. Me speak good.
Me slap you.
No, me speak good. You know slap. Me have good speaks.
Okay, bad speaking Yoda?
No, me speak good now, well.
That's even worse.
No. It better.
Better it be.
Anyway, now that I've gotten that out of my system-ish, let's move on.
Are we going to get lost in a loop?
Sure. In a tale from it. Ha! So the great thing about this is, of course, Tales from the Loop. It's an interesting, like, kind of like sci-fi. I'd say like trying to go for like the feeling of like anthology series.
Oh, and apparently the Amazon series started.
Oh, cool.
Because on the front of the book, that you can zoom in on. It says now an Amazon original series, Prime Video.
Neat. So they got it. You can download the PDF of it right now. I'm guessing it'll have it in some kind. They do plan to have it in a physical format, if that's what you need for it. The other big thing about it is, you
can get the watermark PDF of it for $5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
What were you gonna say? You're like, oh.
I was downloading something as a PDF from this link right away.
I
don't know what functional part of it is that it is right now. I'm trying to find out. Let me download Tales from the Loop. Its own section. But also, like, it's made to be
a quick preview.
Yeah, it's meant to be in virtual tabletop too. Is the other thing I was going to say. Yeah, they have a quick preview of it. Which is always cool. You know, it's a little bit more something. It's not a lot for the PDF you can download. It's like a really short preview, and it talks about stuff for it. So that's a really weird PDF to download. But I downloaded it there. But it is meant to be worked through, like, the Roll20 marketplace and stuff like that.
Oh, God.
What?
They have a picture of a Commodore 64 computer.
Where?
Or a Commodore on page 6.
Uh-huh. That is a thing that they can show off to you. Commodore 64.
Oh, no, page 6 of 7. Oh, God.
I think you downloaded something different than me. You probably.
I didn't download anything. I just clicked on the quick preview and zoomed in.
Oh, quick preview. Oh, then they got the different pages. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you downloaded.
Something on their site. There's the comments.
I'm on the drive-through RPG site.
Yeah.
That you linked in. So
yeah.
It's
$5 over there.
Yeah.
I was on the announcement on Free League Press, and they have some kind of weird download there, which I don't know if it's an actual download for it, or is it like a download for the free preview, and I downloaded an extra copy, or talking about this. And did I download just like the announcement then? I'm not sure. It's weird. Do they have it that you can like download their announcements? It's like,
yeah.
Why?
I've accidentally did that before.
It's kind of dumb. I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna get rid of you. Freaking stupid announcement press release in PDF format. Why would I want that?
Maybe if you're doing a screenshot or something.
Or I guess if you're press. We're technically press, but we're not.
And you want to read it later.
Yeah, offline.
If you're just getting a bunch of articles to read and go through.
I can see that if you're like... it's not that I can't see uses for it. I just, like, the effort of having it exist versus the, like, necessarily usefulness in the long run seems disproportionate.
Well, it wouldn't be hard for them to create it. It's just... They take what they wrote up and
throw it to a PDF. Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, hell, it might be as a PDF technically on the screen. You know what I mean? They might be able to publish that on their site as a it might be the same thing way they publish their articles on their site. They originally create them in a PDF. Who knows?
So yeah, the digital format is officially a Roll20 module, which is awesome. Meaning that like if you're going into it,
Roll20.
Yeah. It's the scenario recycled boy. You can get. It's like.
I wonder if you can get it through the Roll20 store. Then
you can get it. You can get it at the Roll20 marketplace. They have a. If it's on their announcement, the other link related to it that I sent you, and you can click on it. The starter set goes for $15 on there though, because I guess
it's being on through Roll20, but then.
It's full integrated.
I was going to say, if you play mainly through Roll20, as we pretty much do anymore, the $10 extra might be worth it, so you have it fully integrated.
It's got everything set up for you.
You're paying for the convenience, and that's probably all. I'm guessing that's probably also going to give you tokens and everything else.
Probably.
Let's see. Roll20 only features include fully integrated with Roll20 platform, with all documents available as searchable handouts, player art handouts ready to share, new Tales from the Crypt character sheet supported by Free League Publishing, and maps with GM layer information.
And you still get a fully illustrated rulebook, the complete mystery recycled board, 5 pre-generated characters, and a large full-colored map of the land of the loop.
Yeah, so you are getting exclusive roll. You're spending $10 more to have all the exclusive Roll20 stuff in there.
Because, like, the PDF pretty much has the rules, the mystery, the characters, and the map, and that's it. You know.
Yeah, so it's for $10 more. You're getting the player art handouts, the character sheets that are supported in Roll20. And maps with GM layer information.
Those are very helpful. Like, maps that you can use for, like, already set up for a game are always very useful.
Yeah, and they already have specific information that the GM can see on the GM layer.
Yeah.
So, for $10 more, I think it's definitely worth it.
Mm-hmm. It saves a lot of work in Roll20. Like, a lot of work. Granted, like, if you are up for the work yourself, go ahead and just get, like, the PDF and try to figure out how to put that stuff in there or something like that. But, like, integrating maps is not always as easy.
Not even just that, but just having it automatically integrated with the character sheets is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unless you're doing some kind of hybrid stuff where you're rolling separately and you're just using that as a platform to show stuff.
Yeah.
It's... You know, or you know how to make character sheets in Roll20 yourself. That seems like a lot more work than just paying $10 and going, "Hey, I got."
Well, it's not that they might not have a sheet in Roll20 anyway. It might just be like, it's hard to say if it's like a better sheet or anything. You know, something like that. Like Roll20 at least does provide a number of sheets for a lot of things.
Yeah, it says that these sheets are supported by Free League Publishing.
So I'm guessing that probably they have a version of a character sheet in there for Tales of the Loop, but like this is like their official one, which you can see sometimes the difference between an official and non-official character sheets in Roll20, and it does make a difference.
It might be better with calculations automatically and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, but Tales of the Loop, the starter set is out now. If you want to get into this kind of like...
and starter sets are always a great idea.
And it's a good way to try out again, like, this is a very interesting, it's like a sci-fi anthology kind of series, kind of adventure. And
1980s.
Yeah, it definitely has a very interesting feel to it. Tales of the Loop has always been like one of those, like, on the, now I wouldn't call it my short list, on my long list of RPGs to try out, it's definitely on there. You know, my short list is very short. You know,
it's just Bob.
I mean, like, there's short list has things like GURPS and Call of Cthulhu that I'd like to try out sometime. Those are ones I can call out because they're like big ones that exist that if I haven't done at some point in time in my role-playing existence, it's like, what's wrong with me? Anyway, let's move on. There is a newer... It's kid-friendly, but I don't know how... I couldn't call it, like, perfectly kid-friendly, because, like... Okay, would you call ages 8 and up pure kid-friendly? I guess you could.
Pretty much. I think... Oh, wait. Which one are we going to?
It's Spongebob Fluxx.
That says ages... ages 8 to adult. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
8 to adult. 2 to 6 players.
I think it's more because of rules comprehension.
Yes. Gotcha. I can see that'd be your, like, age gate. So, again, like... They've been doing a lot of branded fluxes more lately. I think that's the kind of way that they're going. It doesn't mean it's not without its creativity, because, like, the people behind Moody Labs figure out how to integrate these, like, brands very well into Fluxx. You know, they have to come up with all these, like, different, the new rules, the keepers, creepers if they're using them in that type of game, goals, and actions that all have like a level of silliness or like interestingness to it, and still fit within the purview of what it is. So
okay, I think they definitely are going the nostalgia route,
mm-hmm.
but you get also a collectible coin.
Yeah.
Collectible SpongeBob coin.
Because SpongeBob's ancient now. Like granted, like for us, it's definitely like on the newer Nicktoons animation. Like by the time it came out, I think like it had to be like a really good series for us to like pop in and check it out. Like I don't know if I would compare it being during that time, but things like, you know, Rocko's Modern Life, you know, Invader Zim, those were things that like even more as an adult you could kind of like jump in and see. And there's plenty of animation nowadays.
It came out when we were in high school, 1999.
Yeah. And there's even, like, some stuff nowadays, which I will say, like, yeah, no, it's pretty good. You can check it out, you know, animation stuff. Like, even, like, stuff that's even more, like, kid-oriented. Like,
I mean, I even watched, you know, like, the Fairly Odd Parents.
I was going to go for something like, I liked Gravity Falls a lot, you know, and that was out on Disney just a couple years ago. That was the big series that I enjoyed a lot of. But there's some other ones out there that, like, I've at least seen a little bit and be like, either it's bad or it's acceptable. And definitely, like, there's levels of stuff that can be like, I can sit and watch this with someone.
Oh, God, you know what I just realized? SpongeBob's old enough to drink.
That's still going on. Now, this is one of those ones that I unfortunately am going to say I never really was big on it.
I watched some of the episodes, but I was never hugely into SpongeBob.
Too hit and miss for me. It's sort of like one of the reasons that I stopped watching Simpsons a couple years ago is that I tried to watch, like, maybe like 2 or 3 seasons ago, I tried to watch it, and when the misses were misses, they were bad misses. When the hits were hits, they were good misses. But
they were good misses?
Like
when they were hits?
No, when the hits were hits, they were very good. When the misses were misses, they were very bad. Is kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you meant. It was just kind of funny.
I said it in a very weird way. And that's the problem with this kind of this series was the kind of the same, at least early on for me. There was some, you know, and it's like the humor tends to be a little too stupid. Like, I don't feel like you need to be that stupid for kids sometimes, too. I'm just saying. But anyway, that's just my opinion, that kids can be smarter than you think.
I don't know if it's been picked up for 2020 yet.
Oh, SpongeBob.
It was running through 2019, but I don't know if it's been picked up for this year.
Hard to say.
Season 13.
They spread out their seasons really weird on it. They have how many episodes per season too? Like there's certain animated shows mimic TV. Others are just
episodes were scheduled for season 12.
They must have spread them out a lot over the years then.
Yeah. Well, then there was also the movies they did.
Yeah. It's like, unfortunately, things on like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network don't always have standard seasons like they have in a lot of other places, and
an animation schedule is a lot different than
it is. But there's plenty of animated shows that actually follow a realistic TV show season schedule, even if they're anthology ones, and they don't dick with you. Like that's what
I think what it is they also rely a lot on their reruns.
They do. Oh my God, they do. Reruns are king. I was going to say there's some.
They probably go, we'll see how it does. You know, we'll see how the reruns are still going and see if we want to pick it up for another season.
It's reruns / syndication, all that kind of stuff that really make TV shows a lot of money sometimes, you know. But anyway, so it's a Fluxx game. I mean, there's not enough to yell a lot about it. I don't think it's going to have creepers. It doesn't look like it is from its nature. Of course, like the characters are keepers and things like that, and you know, and probably other items and stuff. And it comes with a collectible coin and 7 bonus cards, they say.
Walmart and Target will not be carrying it.
That's an interesting thing. I guess I didn't even know they had Fluxxes at Walmart and Target. Again,
I knew they had. I've seen them at Walmart before.
Like, well, Walmart was the one that I was like, huh. Like Target, Target has a little better board game section than most of the big box stores.
Oh, they're considering it a specialty edition.
Oh, okay. That's why they're kind of considering a little bit of special.
Yeah. The specialty edition. Oh no, they have a special edition. That's the one that comes with the coin.
The special edition is the only edition, and has a red starburst declaring its specialty status.
It's the only edition. Oh yeah. Okay, so it only is special edition. Yeah.
So they're putting it as a kind of a special edition with the coins and stuff. So the thing is, it might be limited then too, because the thing is that might be the deal with Viacom. You know that like Viacom put it out in a certain way, and maybe part of the deal that got them the rights to that made it a little cheaper too.
Okay, I found the card list. Mm-hmm. So there's 25 keepers, 26 new rule cards, 38 goals, and 18 actions. So there are no creepers.
Yeah.
God, some of these keepers, I'm like Larry the Lobster. I have no idea who that is.
I think I know the character just from like a random memory. Isn't there like a muscular lobster dude?
I don't remember.
That's the only thing I could think of.
And there's 7 bonus cards, which the bonus cards are Karen, Magic Pencil, Doodle Bob,
and then
Frankendoodler, Me Hoi Minoi,
Evil Twin, and
Plankton Wife. Yeah.
So they're
Plankton
4.
Have a wife?
Look, I can remember some of this because my niece watched this, and you tried to ignore it. I'm pretty sure that Karen is
she's a
robot,
computer,
and I think it's his wife, kind of thing. Like like
Karen Plankton. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I could think of for that one. It seems simple enough for me to like some vague recognition, but other than that,
God, she was Plankton's invention assembled from a calculator and a mass of wires.
Sounds about right. Thank you for that history. That's on that one. That is something I would not have known, and I'm probably not going to remember it, but that's besides the point. So yeah, it's 3 keepers and 4 new rules that are bonus cards. I think that's included in the 107 cards. Okay. So okay, there are 2 versions of this game. They do say. All right. So there is a specialty edition, and then there's the big box chain edition. So there will be some at Target and Walmart. The one that I kind of linked you to is technically the specialty version of it that has the coin. But like if you see at the bottom of the card list here, they do say like Target and Walmart will have versions about the 7 cards.
Oh, interesting.
And specialty stores, all game stores, and most toy stores will have the specialty edition.
Yeah, it says Walmart and Target and other big chains have a version without these 7 cards.
So it's encouraging you to go to your local game store or specialty store and get this if you want to have it.
Yeah.
And then the special edition has the pink starburst and the 7 edition. And the thing is, if you can only get it from Target or Walmart, they do say they're going to sell the 7 bonus cards something separately, probably like a little pack or something. So I mean, like if you want to still get them, you probably could. Hey, Stream Cat, come here, you. Meow meow meow. You want to say hi to everybody? Say hi to everybody. You came in here and bothered me, so you get snuggled. Meow meow meow. Kitty. I got me an armful of kitty, and she's adorable. But no, part of me, like, because there is a nostalgic factor, there's definitely more nostalgic based things that I would love to see, but like I feel like a lot of them you couldn't get because this is still something that's ongoing.
Right.
After, 21 years? 22 years almost? It can get that, So I don't know, like, do we want to see more, like, maybe more in quotation, kid-friendly fluxes? Sure, I wouldn't mind those. you know? And the fact is, like, Avery Fluxx plays different, so this one might be... Will it be simpler, is the question. I actually don't know. Or will this one, like... I actually have to check now. Yeah, all... Okay. All Fluxes seem to be ages 8 and up.
Yeah.
So, it might not actually be, like, technically, in quotations...
None of them are really adult.
No.
Other than maybe Weed Flux.
I think Stoner Fluxx is the only one I could probably count as, you know...
yeah.
Though, again, like, as I mentioned in the introduction of this one, perhaps there is a portion of the population that watches this late at night after imbibing certain substances that might also want to play this.
Yes. I'm just saying that Stoner Fluxx might be the one exception that's not 8 and up.
Yes. It just might be. Oh, and there's a billion types of Fluxes.
There's some that aren't, you know, offered anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they really are. Like, I don't even know if they mentioned Stoner Fluxx. Like, I don't know where our friend bought that one. They don't.
I found it on Amazon.
Yeah, it's still Looney Labs.
Yeah, it's still Looney Labs.
And
it's considered adult.
Yeah,
that one is adult. That one is not ages 8 and up.
They don't. When you go into Fluxx on their website, they Fluxx in a lot of flavors, and they mention a lot of them. They have versions of Fluxx that are in their vault, which they don't mention it there either.
Maybe it's not Looney Labs then, but then... I mean, if it's not Looney Lab, it's the same artwork and everything. I would assume that it has to be.
I'm going to its Board Game Geek site here. Let's see. It was published by... designers Andrew Looney and Kristen Looney, so it was Looney Labs.
Yeah, it was Looney Labs.
But it was with Fully Baked Ideas, which I guess is like a... so maybe Fully Baked Ideas, because I'm guessing that is more... Oh.
Maybe it's like a subsidiary thing they have?
Their top games are the following: Stoner Fluxx and Drinking Fluxx.
Ah. So maybe it wasn't like... Maybe it's their adult branch?
It could be.
Because what was that called again?
Stoner Fluxx or Drinking Fluxx? Fully Baked Ideas.
Fully Baked Ideas.
Yeah, so Fully Baked Ideas was founded by, okay, so Fully Baked Ideas for their adult-themed games. Gotcha.
That makes sense.
Okay. So they kind of separated it out into their own...
They also have adult Mad Libs.
Yeah.
Stoner Lunacy and Amsterdam coffee shops.
Yeah.
So it looks like a lot of it is weed based. Because 3 of the games contain marijuana references. One's an adult Mad Libs, which is cool. And one's a drinking game.
I think
one's a drinking Fluxx.
It seems like they haven't had a lot of major updates from it lately. I'm just guessing that they haven't had ideas that really, throw into... It's
probably just like a side thing of they come up with an adult idea. Hey, we'll put it under this.
Mm-hmm.
That way, it's not mixing with our family friendly.
Yeah. And so, like, it seems like they just haven't had a really great idea to throw into it lately. That's fine, if you don't have, like, a great idea to be, like, throw into your adult brand, whatever. But now it's interesting to know that that's kind of where it's kind of thrown out to. So they do have, like, an adult brand on in Fully Baked Games that, maybe we'll hear about something from in the future when they come up with a really awesome idea that feels like it's more of an adult-themed thing anyway. But until that time, we're stuck with the Fluxes we have, which, again, are a really good variety. they certainly have a lot of interesting fluxes.
Yes.
But anyway. So, yes. Fluxx. Spongebob version. Will I buy that? Probably not. Would I play it? Yeah, probably. It's a Fluxx. You know. I have not... The only Fluxx I've really been disappointed in was playing Stoner Fluxx because it's way too stoner. And it feels like you need to be playing that in a state where it is legally allowed to do so. My show. What are you eating?
Cookie.
Celery.
Okay.
Celery made of cookies.
She's not eating celery made of cookies. Anyway, don't get in here because Joe, we're doing a show here. Joe will say hi later on. So, head scruffle. Keep going. Go flip. No one can see. Don't lean over that. Don't mess with that. Behave yourself. Let's move on though, because we have more topics to handle. Let's just
Cryptazoic Con.
Cryptazoic Con II. Now,
Electric Boogaloo?
yeah. I feel like that's a statement that you can say, and I'm not going to complain about it. So, they had their Cryptazoic Con back in April. Great. Cryptazoic Con 2022 in June. I feel like you should
Maybe
rebrand
there's
it.
more.
You know?
The Revenge of Cryptazoic Con.
Yeah, like... Now, granted, like, I'm going to say, there are companies that do this kind of thing. I'm not against them doing that kind of thing. Hell, if we look into the video game world, Nintendo does this now. They do, instead of going to, like, the big conventions like E3 and stuff a lot of times, they have their Nintendo Directs, where they have, like, a direct, almost like kind of live stream announcement of a lot of things. And they do their big announcements there. Okay. Granted, like, for this one, I don't know. There's both good and bad.
Maybe they had a large contingency of people who were like, hey, we didn't get to do the first one, and there was a request for another one.
Well, like, okay, we call, like, exclusives. Let's start with the four things that they're kind of saying about this one. You know, exclusives. Okay. Exclusive products that they can put out during these time periods. Maybe the only big thing I can say about this, because Cryptazoic Games also does a lot of, like, other than the board games and stuff that they do on, which we've talked about a few of them, you know, like, the wizard one with the crazy spells that looks like
Epic Spell Wars?
Epic Spell Wars. Its name escaped me for a minute there. They do Epic Spell Wars at Cryptazoic.
Spell Wars.
They also do a billion figures. Pop figures of various types. Often DC pop figures. So, okay, you've got exclusives there. Like their little bombshells DC figures. They're offering like a Harley Quinn and Joker Noir editions for their for that. You know? Okay.
All right.
I can see this being a way to sell those exclusives. Like, if you sign up for it, if you're part of it, you have an option to, you know, purchase our exclusives that maybe you would have gotten at a convention. All right, you know, I can pass that off. The live streams, announcing new things live. You don't need to be at a con to do that. I mean, like, heck, Paizo and D&D do like live streams where they announce goddamn stuff that they're doing sometimes. And they don't need to do cons for them.
Yeah.
Sneak peeks, it's the same way. Giveaways, that's sort of like, is kind of like the exclusives thing. When you brand something as a convention, I feel like it has a different feel than like, you know, like certain like types of events, you know? And I think that's what's getting to me to worry about it a little bit, is that we're like, you're watering down the idea of the convention a little bit.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, if you're gonna do this every 3 months, fine. But, like, I feel like...
Name it something else than a con?
Yeah, because it really isn't a convention. It never has been a convention. Even calling it an online convention is you're still lying about something. It's just that, like, when we have to do them because of the situation, we pass it off. The people that are us, because, I'm sorry, we're board gaming people. We're not idiots. Well, most of us aren't. There are probably a few idiots amongst us that still like board games. And if you're an idiot that likes a board game, more power to you. You might learn a thing or two and get less idiotic.
You're welcome.
Idiots for board games. Please stop being stupid. Learn board game. Anyway, the entire idea is that, like, an online convention isn't really a convention. It never will be a convention. It'll never be the same thing as a convention.
Well, you can make it close to it.
Yes, you can mimic certain things about it, and depending on the...
You can still do the panels. You can do live plays in certain ways, which some of these are doing.
Yes.
That makes it... to me, that can make it understandable to call it an online convention at that point. If there's actual interaction and you can do demos and stuff like that, I would say then can say it's an online convention. If you're just announcing stuff and saying, hey, you can buy stuff and here's some streams, then call it a streaming event.
Yeah, like, there's a fine line between it. Like, I actually agree with you. Like, the big thing about conventions, like an online convention, is you have less options than a normal convention. I think that's the big thing, is, like, unless it's something like, I think a couple of conventions, like, or a couple of events have multiple channels. Like, I think, like, PAX live streams a bunch of their stuff, and they've got, like, 2 or 3 channels of PAXs that they live stream some of this stuff for, like, some of the stuff, I think. Like, so that's why you can see, like, apps.
And for me, the key thing is actual events that you can participate in. That's where it goes from just a streaming event to kind of more of a con.
Like,
if you have stuff that you can interact with, people, it's more, to me, that then you can say it's an online con. Like, if it's just some streaming... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Well, I was going to say, like, from all my experience going to conventions, which I've been to a bunch of different types of conventions, fortunately, there's like maybe a couple big things that, like, stand out for me as what you need to make a convention. First thing is probably big ticket stuff. That's like your big main stage. Now, what kind of events are on that big main stage depends on the type of con. Like a Star Trek con's probably going to have some guests from Star Trek. A anime convention is probably going to have, like, their big, like, costume contest and masquerade on it. A tabletop convention, like, or a PAX convention is probably going to have, like, Acquisitions Incorporated, showing off D&D and doing that. Or, like, having big, like, announcement stuff. That's your big ticket things. Then having, of course, panels. Panels, usually you have variety in it. Will you have that here? Probably less variety. You can probably get some variety in online con. Sales. I don't think every convention necessarily needs that, but a lot of these, like, single business ones having specials and deals that go on around the time of their convention, more power to them. I think that's a good idea for, like, supporting this entire concept, And then, like, it is, like, workshops and things you can do. Whether those workshops are, like, again, like, for the Star Trek convention, it might be, like, maybe practicing makeup or something for, like, making your own costume. Or for, like, a tabletop one, it could be, like, it's testing out a board game or something. Things like that. They take different forms. But, yeah, there's that interactivity that you have. You're not just going there to see stuff. You want some interactivity.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of these single company ones have less of that. Like,
yeah, I completely agree.
It's like, I don't think there was a lot for the original Cryptazoic Con. and some of these other ones. But again, I also pass the buck for this year for a lot of these companies because they're organizing this last minute. They're doing this instead of their normal convention routes. They're not going to Origins. They're not going to Gen Con. They're not going to Eschenspiel. They're not doing any of these big things. And so what are they going to do to do their big announcements? Here we are. Here's where we're showing off stuff. They got to do something in place of it. I can understand coming up with this PaizoCon felt like a con. They had this huge schedule. They did it over a lot of days. They had a lot of big announcements. They had a lot of people playing goddamn Pathfinder. They'd organized games. This was something that made it feel very convention. Having one in place during this time period, great. How much stuff are you announcing that you need to have a second one in this year? Because I'm sorry, Cryptazoic, a lot of their announcements, Final Figures. How many announcements of Final Figures do you need a convention for? Again, they're not a bad company. They do put out a couple of board games a year. You don't need an entire convention for one of them. And what else do you put out? Mostly Final Figures. Collectibles are your main brand. If that's why I check their news directly maybe once a month, because most of the stuff you talk about, collectibles, Final Figures. I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah. We can see how it will go. It's next week. But I feel like some companies are using this as a bad excuse. I think that's the way I kind of say it. It's like a bad excuse.
Yeah. This one, I think, is kind of abusing, the idea of doing the online convention.
Yeah. Will it be good for those people that participate? Maybe. If you're a big fan of Cryptazoic's collectibles, and you're looking for exclusives, or you're looking for a giveaway that you can maybe participate in, then you might get something out of it. I'm not saying people won't. It's just that, for those of us that are more, not into those things and might be into other stuff, I like the Epic Spell Wars. I like that game. I'm interested. They're putting another one out this year. It fills me with interest, So that's that's something I'm interested in from Cryptazoic. But it's that big old but.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much are they getting? They're not going to be announcing a lot more. And I'm pretty sure at the previous Cryptazoic Con, they previewed the new Epic Spell Wars. Are they going to preview it a second time? How much more are they going to show off?
Right.
And they're probably not going to come out with another Epic Spell Wars this year. Just the nature of their company. It's a couple of board games a year and collectibles, mostly.
Yeah.
A few other things, but still.
I don't get it. But I think it's time to move on.
Yeah, I'm letting myself get angry about this when I really shouldn't get angry about this. It's not really something to get angry about.
I think we need to ride away from this situation.
We really need to find a ticket that'll take us to ride. While we're at home, which is really weird. I'm we're riding a train around the house. Where are we fitting this train, and how are we not destroying everything?
It's like a little model train.
Okay, I'll give it that to you. Model train. Woo! Okay, so they have a special... Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, they have a special version of Ticket to Ride. And it's Ticket Ride Stay at Home. And it is free. So you just need a pair of scissors, adhesive tape, and you do need the base Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's where this loses me a little.
Well, they say it's an expansion.
I know, but it's just like, if you already own the game, why wouldn't you just play Ticket to Ride?
Yeah.
Instead of baby brother's room, sister's room, let's take a train to the Hall Bath.
I think this is like
it's a cute idea.
And the thing is, I'm going to say about it is, like, you have to remember, like, I have a copy of Ticket to Ride Europe, okay? Which they say this works with Ticket to Ride Europe, Ticket to Ride Germany, or Ticket to Ride Nordic countries. You know, it works with any of these. I have Ticket to Ride Europe. I, myself, will play it with my friends. Now, would I play it with my niece? No.
You might play the house one with it.
This one I could. So that might be who it's for.
Yeah. For,
you know, the adult audience that has copies of it, but also has kids, and there's a way for them to get into Ticket to Ride for
more
free.
Kid-friendly version.
And it's more kid-friendly, yeah. Is that a very large audience? No!
But it's also free, so...
And maybe, like, this is also, like, to help with a little bit of insanity, like, something different to do. You know?
Well, you know what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to try to trade from the sink to the stove.
Aw, man! He's a crazy man.
And then maybe ride another train to the kitchen island.
Oh, Jesus. This madman.
Because, you know, a 5-foot step needs a train ride.
Apparently.
Your longest route is the balcony to the balcony table.
Yeah. There's some interesting
ones
here.
Wait. There is one from the napping area to...
I guess the center of the
center of the living room? I don't know, because it doesn't give a name. It's one of the few that don't have a name.
It's like the main hall areas and stuff. It's like the transport areas. I feel like for those is that you need an actual rainbow, it looks like, though. If you look at it.
Yeah.
Which is actually a unique thing, is that you need multiples of different colors and stuff. You don't see that in normal Ticket to Ride or Ticket to Ride Europe. Maybe
no, that is interesting.
That actually...
I guess it makes it a little easier.
Yeah, that you... Like, yes and no. Because remember, you can just draw cards and never find the color you need.
Oh, yeah, I know that. But I'm just saying, sometimes it's not even that you can't find the color you need, but you can't find the multiples of the color you need. I've had rainbow hands, and it's like, I can't find, one more blue or something. It's like, oh, but with this, I could do a green... blue, green, orange, pink.
To go from, like, one area of the hallway to the other ones, Or, like, have a pink, orange, pink, white to go from sister's room into the hall. Yeah, I can see that. Like, you can have a little bit of a rainbow to do that. And there's, like, also, like, some 3 routes to, like, going into the kid's bath.
Dang, that kid's bath has the widest opening.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 routes you can take into the kid's bath.
I'm curious. So they do have it. It's Asmodee, so it's got their print and play website. It's 4 pages. You're going to assemble, use adhesive tape to do the board. Cut the ticket cards with a pair of scissors or a cutter and rulers. Yep. Reserve 32 train cars per player instead of the usual 45. And matching score markers from one of the following games. A deck of train cars taken from one of the games is just fine. And then it doesn't take a lot to put it together. Too much. A little tape, a little cutting, and then you got yourself like a different version of it. It's like the only reason that you need one of the base games is the trains. That really is the only reason. And the card deck. Yes.
The train deck.
Which it does scream to me like, okay, yes, it's not really a true print and play, but it's also like, well, it's something different.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking that it could be geared more for families and kids, I could understand it more than...
Yeah.
It's a weird it's partially print and play, partially not.
Yeah.
The trains you could get away with not having to have a deck.
No, you need the deck of cards or something, because like there's not an easy way to match a Ticket to Ride card deck.
Yeah. Because, how many cards is in a Ticket to Ride card deck?
They mention the number of cards that you need. I don't think they mention it. They just say check of train cards. I'm not sure off the top of my head. It's a lot.
The only thing you could do with that is if you had like maybe some multiple card packs, like decks of playing cards, you could put colors.
It would need, because you'd need more. You'd have to have them alternate colors though too. It'd have to be either alternate symbols or alternate colors in order to separate them out. Because there's like what? How many different colors in Ticket to Ride? 6 or 7 or something like that. At least 6. There's more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7.
Yeah, I think it's 7.
7. But what I'm saying is you could put, like, you get a box of crayons and a few packs of playing cards. You could do it.
Yeah, you could do something on your own. You could jank together something. You could look up how many of whatever they're supposed to be, mark things, down, things like that, and just like,
Yeah. You could do a complete without have the actual pieces. It would just be more difficult.
And that's why you should just buy the actual game set if you don't have it. You can play this with your kids, and it's an awesome game that you can just play with your friends and maybe your kids when they get older later on. Mm-hmm. And that's an excuse to have a kind of community/friends board game night once everybody's able to meet each other again. Human contact.
What is human contact? What is love? Beep bop boop.
Look, the closest thing I had to human contact in the last while that's not beyond my close family was totally the Chinese food place.
Do you need me to come over and give you a hug?
No. You might be plague infested. Sure? You might be plague infested.
I am not plague infested.
I totally have to worry about my mom becoming plague infested. Her job reopened.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Her boss is evil. And will never die.
I'm surprised that they're even allowed to be open because they're not an essential...
We're in yellow now. Everywhere in Pennsylvania is in yellow. So things like that. And they're a notary, which makes them kind of like a semi-essential.
Very essential, I guess.
They're essential to a weird degree.
My job announced that the earliest we'll be returning back to actually being in office is September 30th.
Yeah.
Because everything we do can be done remote.
So they're just like, we're just going to put it off, until it's definitely safe. Or that's the earliest. They're like, we're putting off to there for now. Like,
yeah. And they're going to give us a 30-day heads up before we have to be back in office.
And I'm going to say this thing. There's some offices like yours that might, by the end of this, just evolve into, especially if productivity is good.
They already told us that some jobs will be going completely remote.
Yeah, like...
Other jobs will be more remote days.
But I'm saying, like, how, like, Twitter was just like, we're all remote permanently now. They just said that. There's, like, with all this, they're like, you know what, we can all do our jobs from home. Fuck it.
And if you think about it, it saves money for the business. Because then they don't have to rent office space. Think of how, like, my main office, we have, I think, around 400 people in it.
Mm-hmm.
Think how much the rent is on that a month.
It's a bunch.
And it has a cafeteria that we have staffed.
It's the cleaning in the cafeteria. Like, the amount of cleaning you'd have to do is if you can just shut down entire floors. or stuff like that, like of area. Like if you can cut it down to like even half that number, kind of things like that,
But when you're ready to entire building, you want to take up all the space that you can because
you're using
otherwise you're paying for space you're not using at all.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like ups and downs, for the entire thing. But anyway, we now know she's back to work, and so I'm worried about her,
No, I can understand that, especially with her medical problems.
Like, let me put it this way. When I went into the Chinese food place, it was interesting because they had an entire plexiglass over top, because it's one of those Chinese food places where it's got like the counter and you can see back into the kitchen. Plexiglass over the top, a little thing that opens for when they pay, and a double-doored kind of like thing to put food in. So like you open up the one side, put food in, the person opens it up on the other side, takes the food out.
Yeah, that's one business that has had a giant cash flow increase is the places that produce these things, because every store has ordered all these plexiglass things now.
And the thing is, will they remove them? I don't know. They might just leave them in. It's a weird kind of thing, but like, what's the point?
The real big question is, will movie theaters survive?
I don't know.
AMC already announced that they don't, if it goes much longer than August, they don't know if they can reopen.
I think by August we should see at least some version of movie theaters reopening. All they might have to do is more, like, increase the show ranges. They have a pretty good show range now, but like all it might mean is like, because that's the thing is I've noticed,
and probably half the seating. Because the thing is, like, I've noticed a lot of places had been cutting back on shows.
On the big nights, you have shows.
Well, there's also one other big thing with AMC that they announced too. Real quick, and then we should get back into real topics.
Yeah.
They announced that they will no longer be showing Universal Pictures.
Wow.
Because Universal is now talking about doing dual releases of streaming and movie releases at the same time, because like their Onward and stuff like that did so well.
That's a tough thing, because there is a lot of profit in theaters, is the only thing. So like, if they're saying that they had a very successful and very profitable time with going to streaming services early, that's a good sign for earlier releases for movies or stuff like that. But the problem is it might not work for every movie. It's kind of this like weird thing of like
that's what I'm worried about, is bigger things like the next Avatar, whenever the hell that comes out.
It can't go directly to things to get the same amount of money.
Yeah, that you need that kind of movie experience.
Yes.
Even a lot of the Marvel films, yes, they're, the original watch is always better in theaters, and then the rewatch is fine at home. But you get the spectacle.
The spectacle is what they expect. That's what they earn the money from. The spectacle. And the big theater experience. It's also like getting into a little bit of this, like, that, like, like, everybody saw the end credit scenes, I don't want to have it spoiled. That kind of thing, too.
Yeah. But, like, stuff like Onward that's more geared to a kid's movie, that I can understand, having an earlier release at home, because kids are going to binge it. They're going to watch it and want to watch it again and watch it again and watch it again.
If it's something that might not earn as much money in theaters or have a very good big theater splash, it might be worth it to throw out at home.
Yeah.
Right away. Or dual release. Some people like the movie theater. Like, I personally like seeing things in movie theaters. It's one of those things. I like going to a movie theater. I like seeing a movie in it. It's like, it's less the spectacle, and it's more like it's a nice big screen. You can see all of it. You're kind of like sequestering yourself away from the world a little bit. There's a lot of distractions that I'm very easily distracted by when I'm watching a movie anywhere else.
But the other thing on the flip side is, when they do open, if they do open, are we going to see a jump in ticket prices?
Maybe.
To make up for all the months of loss.
Maybe.
And then the other thing that they're concerned about is because so many movies have been postponed for filming, what are they going to be showing in theaters during that blackout time of there's nothing coming out?
Well, there's a lot of stuff that's been put off, that still has been put off, but we don't know when things are reopening, so they've put in dates. So there is a period of, like, when it reopens, what's set for that reopen period? We don't know.
Yeah.
Is there stuff on hold? Like, things like, Black Widow is like, is it like, it's like October, November now, like that one, I thought? Or did they delay that till next year,
I'm not sure. I think the theaters that are going to have the most success in reopening are the ones that also show older movies.
I'll say some of the event ones too, like do special events. Like I think like the Regals. Regals have special events, whether that's showing like sometimes older movies for anniversaries or stuff too. They might be able to pull it off by putting together like a special event or something, like for coming back. They could probably do some kind of awesome special event that people could like go and see and stuff, like.
I just worry with theaters just because of also we are geared more to a I want it now culture now.
Yep.
So if more studios decide to do dual releases and stuff, are theaters going to make it? Are they going to have enough of a draw for the younger crowd now?
Damn kids. There's a lot of problems that are going to be going on that we're seeing as a result of this entire thing. Like, we're talking movies here, but we can like bring this back into all the things that we've been talking about here on the show for stuff. Like, the fact is that like conventions, what the hell is going on with a lot of them? Some of them can delay. I'm not saying that they can't delay. Some of them are going to be canceled for next year, but like. A convention's a business too. I think that's the big thing that like a lot of people forget about. Conventions are businesses too. They're made to make money for the people running them. Granted, a lot of times the money that comes into a convention is oftentimes used to reinvest in it and growing the convention. A convention wants to get to sort of like like I'd say something like a PAX East and a PAX West are kind of your maximum size. You've grown to that point in time. But it does for a profit. Granted, like, there are conventions that use that profit in various ways. Some of them use it for pure profit. Others, might put, like, a percentage of it to, go to these charity or something. There's a lot of forms that it can take. But it still is a profit model. That you cannot deny that is a profit model. But anyway.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Back to main topics because we're almost done and we're a little over.
We're on our ending topics now. That was our main topics. We finished up. I think we were good with Ticket to Ride, Print and Pray. We don't have a deeper discussion. Do you have a Kickstarter for Kickstarter Korner?
I do. I found an interesting one. Cool. Let me put this in chat. Put the link.
Sweet.
Okay, so I found Die in the Dungeon, which is an interesting 1 to 2 player game. You take the role of a monster.
Okay.
In a dungeon, you're trying to defeat heroes. It looks like it's more geared to one person than anything, actually. And your stats are dice.
Okay, cool.
When you design your monster, you decide where to put which die. It's a D4 up to a D20, one of each.
Okay.
And you have to explore. You're basically trying to explore a dungeon and protect it for the die master, aka the GM.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it looks interesting. They have reached their goal. Their goal was 23,526, and they're at 23, or they were 20,526, and they're at 23,477. So they're fully funded. They have 501 backers, 16 days still left to go on it, and for 10 Canadian dollars, you can get the print and play, which is $7 US. And you can get the full game for $39. And then it goes up from there. The artwork is interesting. It's nice. I think it does come with dice and everything too, as well as little standees for whatever monster you choose to be. And they have some interesting playthrough stuff, videos on there. But I just thought it was an interesting game. It's mainly a one-player game. I don't know how the two-player play mode works. If you're playing as like a set of monsters, or someone's playing the actual.
That could be a very good question if it's a game that's mainly made for being one player, because that's what it sounds like. It's mainly made to be a one-player game.
So they're saying you can do it as 2 players, but it looks like it's mainly set as a one-player game.
Yeah, it's mostly.
I could see it. I could see an interesting dynamic where maybe they do an expansion in the future that allows you to take on hero roles and actually be like a real fight between the monsters and the heroes. Because as a one-player game, it's like I don't know if I would spend $40 for it. Even though it looks fun, it looks really interesting. I'm not a person who normally will sit there and play a game with myself, even if there is a one-player mode option for a game.
Like I have to agree with you. I'm definitely more of I'm just going to pick up a video game. That's the thing.
Yeah. If I want to play a solo game, I'm probably going to do a video game and call it a day. But this does look like an interesting idea. I would love to see, maybe, like I said, in the future, them do an expansion that allows you to actually play against someone. So you could have multiple people. Like, if there's a 2-player option, and you're playing 2 monsters trying to guard the dungeon. I'm not sure how the 2-player works, but if that's what it is, then I could see them doing maybe a 4-player game and having people take on the roles of the heroes.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting game. I just figured, I wanted to point it out. So that's what I got for Kickstarter.
I got one too. Alice is missing. So there's the link to
it. Oh no.
It's an RPG, but it's entirely a silent RPG. You are supposed to play via text message, like a group text chat.
Interesting.
Yeah, it kind of like, as a silent role-playing experience, it kind of like brought me in. So it's kind of like it is more of a mystery kind of game. It's about the disappearance of Alice Briarwood in a small town. Players can only communicate using their phones, sending text messages to each other as they unearth clues about what happened to Alice. It's supposed to be like a 90-minute play session, and you do the texts back and forth to other characters in a group chat, as well as individually. So they probably have a group. You're supposed to have a group chat, but you're supposed to also do individuals, as though you aren't in the same place. So I'm guessing you have like, I'm not sure because it doesn't really say. I'm guessing you have like a DM or something that's like your person running it, who's the only one speaking. And like. It can run over a single session of 2 to 3 hours with 3 to 5 players. In 45 minutes, you create your character, your relationship to Alice, and the ties with each other. Next 90 minutes is spent uncovering the secrets about it. So I don't know. It's an experiment, kind of, in a way. And it's kind of interesting. Okay, so it does run without a game master. So it is a game without a game master is the only thing. So it comes with an intro card, character cards, drive cards, suspect cards, location cards, clue cards, searching cards, X cards, and a debrief card. So it's got like, it's sort of like a role-playing, I'd say it's kind of akin to something more like Fiasco, which is a role-playing experience that's not like a role-playing game like traditional ones that you think of. Stop it. You behaving? No, you're not. Damn it.
Okay, they do have someone who's considered a facilitator, though.
Mm-hmm. So probably want someone that like makes to draw the cards, you know, get everything set up for it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more to setting up an entire game and kind of things like that. But you know, people have tested it; they like it. I'm curious about replayability. There might be. That's the only big thing I have on it. Like, it might be that, like, because there's these sets of cards, you know, you can have a similar experience every time. But different experiences, you know, that there could be some. Now, it's funded 22 days to go. Apparently it only took 3 hours to 100% fund. Good on them. Let's see here. $1 is just the basic support, like, hey, yeah, I'm supporting it. $10 will get you the PDF, with an option of print cards on demand. So you just get the PDF, you know. It does
20 for the physical.
Yeah, 20 for the physical. Let's see here. They also have a $20 like digital version that has a Roll20 version that they're going to be doing. Cool. So I guess that's a good way of like playing online. And $40 gets you both of them together. And $300 you can play with Spencer, which is only one I've left, which I guess is one of the designers. So neat. I like good experimental role-playing scenarios, so seeing one's kind of cool. You know, that's...
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm just not a huge fan of having to type everything.
I will agree. I will agree wholeheartedly. Typing things is not always fun. So, sometimes you gotta do it, but anyway.
There's also a soundtrack.
Yes. So there's some neat stuff that they're including in along with it. Anyway. We should probably move on.
Yes.
To our week in tabletop. What we did this week in tabletop. I guess what we started with was Grinding Gears.
Yes, exactly we had Grinding Gears. You guys met the crazed sorcerer.
We met a madman. He was crazy.
Who has many different body parts for many different creatures.
He's crazy.
Including a horse leg.
Goat leg.
No, it's a horse. I specifically told you it was a horse.
Like
it a goat?
Uh-huh. It's goat leg. It's probably an actual horse leg, but we're all thinking of it as a goat leg now. Just like they're not arachno horses, they're sporces. You can give us the accurate information, but we're D&D players. We are not going to remember it correctly.
It doesn't look like a goat leg at all. Larger.
Gorilla hand, goat leg.
Well, gorilla hand and lobster claw.
That's right. Can we rename him Sebastian?
No. You're not under the sea.
Actually, damn, you no longer are in my other game anyway, so I guess it doesn't
You're
matter.
under the space sea, baby.
Under the space sea. Under the space sea.
He also has given you some tasks.
Yay, tasks.
Collect some species.
Uh-huh. Do we have to bring him 2 of each?
No. He's not creating an arc. He's trying to experiment to try to create a better creature to fight the mistress.
He's creating super mutants. He's creating super mutants. Yes. We're going to bring him electro squirrels that drain power. because those would be some good super mutants to fight a technological superior being. Other than that, I have no idea what the hell we'll bring him.
Something that breathes in space.
Oh, that's right. He wanted space breath.
And you guys also wanted to bring some cockroaches when you find them to see if he can breathe. That was
because Tabaxi wanted drugs.
Yes.
Our Tabaxi wants a drug dealer. He's a good drug dealer.
Very bad idea, because if he fails his save, bad shit happens.
Anyway, that was a good time. I record some evil. It was road trip in a van. They went up the old highway leading up towards Baldur's Gate and eventually Waterdeep and Neverwinter. They went on a road trip. They passed through a number of countries. They ended up in Baldur's Gate, where they're staying in, like, the... How's the best way to describe it? It's like Las Vegas without the gambling. It's got the same kind of spectacle. And it has the same kind of churches because it's the like, temple district. So, in a world where, you know, effectively this, like, single religion that worships all the divine beings as one kind of, like, group of divinity, you know, rather than individual gods, going to, like, a god's temple and getting married is your spectacle. I got married at Umberlee's temple! Woo! Anyway, they went there and had some adventures there in Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is I'm making a very interesting version of it. They, like, went to, like, a wizard's tower for a tour. That was, like, a historic tour, and that was hilarious. And then in Legacies of Kain, they continue to make deals with shady individuals that may have an effect on it. And also, now they're being tasked by a Cappadocian to have a family reunion. Basically, they have to go to a bunch of necromancers and convince them to go meet up with the Cappadocians in order for them to unite together over the oncoming front of really bad stuff that's been going on. And then, if they successfully do that, they get to be sent to the realm of the dead to visit a place that's there. Yay! It's bad for them all around, but it's hilarious for me. And then, of course, we had Children of Wrath, in which there was a time skip. After drugs.
Yes. Drug skip.
Drugs which did lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of bad things.
Yeah.
Carrie's a half-fiend now. You turned into some kind of... and I think they told you? I think Kaz told you.
They said they were eventually going to tell me.
Yeah, you know, eventually, like, you changed into someone that wasn't you. Effectively, someone in you has their own memories and personality, which probably would be very freaky for you.
Well, not just that, but also apparently have a weird other form, too. That I have no idea really about.
Yeah, no. So there's only one form you haven't gained access to yet. So, I mean, other than that, and probably one that you don't want to transform into at all, but the usual. Horrible, you know, Phyrexian scientist that was technically going to help Carrie if Kazran hadn't interrupted him. Technically.
Yes. But it's not a good thing.
Mm-hmm. But there was a little bit of a time skip with that one, too. And now, so like a month has gone by, and you're now on Arona, the continent, and adventuring. Because you kind of got sent out farther away than you were expecting. You got, like...
Yeah.
Was it on purpose? Was it accidental? None of you know enough about teleportation magic to give an answer to that one.
No. It's freaky.
Mm-hmm.
We got some freaky crap going on.
Yep. But you're going to meet some centaurs next time. And they'll probably be friendly with you. Probably.
Yes. Unless we piss them off in some way. Which is entirely possible.
Judging your team, the answer to that is an astounding, yes, it's very possible. I think it's all the tabletop-y stuff we did, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, did we do Pathfinder?
Oh, yeah, we did.
You actually got into the dungeon proper, and you explored a little bit and fought some ghosts. Good times.
Yes, we ghosted up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting.
They were only commoner ghosts, meaning they were CR not a challenge to you.
Yes. Although I also got set on fire from a trap.
You did. We learned that Farksome is flammable. Highly.
Yes, I did not enjoy that.
I mean...
It was not enjoyable. I prefer not to be flammable.
You'll be fine. What's a little fire between friends?
What's a little friends between fire?
I don't know. Name one of the friends, and we'll set them on fire, and we'll find out. Joey. Everyone's Joey.
Can we set you on fire?
No, I'm not one of the friends. I wasn't on that TV show.
No, you're just a friend.
Yeah, but I'm not one of the friends. Look, I don't have that title. You have to have that title in order to be flammable. Or Farksome.
Hey.
Look, I'm sorry.
Leave Farksome alone.
We learned that through experience. That he's flammable like the friends.
Leave Farksome alone. He didn't do anything to you.
We hear the theme music going, and then all of a sudden he bursts into flames, you know? I don't know where I'm going with this entire thing. So I think that's good enough. That it? That's it for our week in tabletop. Consult the table. You got questions for us? There's a billion places to ask us. Discussingtabletop@yahoo.com. On my Discord, you can reach out to us through the Discussing Tabletop section of that Discord, or add us directly from there at Dracovin for me and at JWSeeker81 for Joe. You can at us on Twitter or message us directly. You can throw it into the comments of the YouTube channel, or if you have a question that you want to throw into the chat right now, go ahead. By the time I'm done this entire conversation, if it shows up by then, we will totally answer it right here, or in any of those formats. If it's a question that we can answer right then and there, we will. If it's something that we feel would be appropriate to bring here to the channel to share with everybody to help out more than just you, we will also.
And then we will dance the fandango.
Dancing. Alright, I've danced.
And then we will dance the dance of love.
No. I'll give you the Macarena, but not the Dance of Love. Though I don't even remember how to do the Macarena. I'd have to look that up.
One Macarena. I remember how to do the Macarena, unfortunately.
Hey, Macarena. That's all I can say about it. I could probably do the electric slide or the chicken dance, though. Which means if you need me for a wedding or some kind of event that would have that, that would put on like random like music like that, totally, I'm your man.
Does that mean you are hiring yourself out for weddings now?
For random dancing and eating your food, yes. To dance, just be there and enjoy the food, sure. If you want me to DM for something related to a wedding, I mean, if you can pay for my flight out there, my room and board, and probably some extra money for making it worth my time, I'm not against DMing, random places for money. I'm all up for free food. You need an adventure? I can come up with some kind of shit, just like that. I'm sure I can come up with something awesome.
Some shit, not something awesome apparently, just some shit. Like mountain camels.
Mountain camels would imply, look, if you're sending me to somewhere, like, when travel opens up more, and, global travel opens more, if you're sending me across the world and expect me to do this, like, freaking jet-lagged as all shit, you will get mountain camels. And then it really will be probably shit. But if you're sending me there and giving me, like, at least a day or something, or 2 days to, like, adapt a little bit, then we might talk about something a little bit more reasonable.
What about Camel Mountains?
That would be a legendary place where you would go to seek out either out camels or it's shaped like a camel, and there's a ancient treasure there hidden deep below the second hump.
What's below the first hump?
A mine.
Like a mine like that explodes, or an actual mine?
Your choice. It could be an depends on the age of technology we're talking. If we're doing a more of a modern day game, I could pull off it's just an actual mine. It's like there's a minefield on the mountain and there's mines there. Or if we're talking like fantasy D&D, I always make it like an old copper mine that like long since has been abandoned and not used. So you could go in through the one, so you go like under the one hump into the other hump in order to get the legendary treasure. Or you could try to find the secret entrance in the second hump where the legendary treasure is actually at. But that's like an entirely another like your challenge of which one you're going to go on. I've already come up with
like 3 more times now.
What?
Can we say hump more times?
Yes. Hump, 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 humperdink. Hump, 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 humperdink. Humperdink. You're welcome.
You know what I have to say?
What?
I'm going to give you the 5th element.
Boron?
Boron.
I thought you were going to give me... Oh, God. Fuck, I don't remember her name.
Boron?
Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. It's going to work.
No.
My brain will work. Or Google will first. Mila Jovovich. I thought you were going to give me Mila Jovovich.
No, I'm not giving you Mila Jovovich.
I wanted to give you the 5th element.
Look, no, I'm going to give you the actual DVD of the 5th element.
That's not a bad movie. I'll take it.
or you could have oh my God, why can't I think of his name? Bruce Willis.
I'll take a Bruce Willis. I'll hang out with Bruce Willis. The two of us will hang out. I'm afraid to hang out with Bruce Willis.
No, he's going to attack you.
Why would he attack me? Bruce Willis is a cool guy. We could do action movies or something. We could, like, jump off a building. I don't want to jump off a building, but we could jump off a building.
He can push you off a building.
He's not going to be hanging out with you. I'm sorry. He'd push you off a building. Just like, yeah.
Anyway.
The only one. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. We definitely went a little later because we got topic off topic, and insane.
Topic off.
What are you replacing it with? Not another topic, like another phase? I don't. Oh my God.
Hot. I replaced it with hot.
Only if we're burning down Hot Topic. Anyway. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back next week. Same tabletop discussion channels. I'm trying to make it more tuned for what we are. Same tabletop discussion place. See, it's like Bat Time, Bat Channel. But,
no, you could just say same tabletop time, same Twitch channel.
Damn your cleverness.
Because we're on a channel.
Fine. Same Twitch time, Twitch channel. It doesn't feel the same unless they're the same. You know, same bat time, same bat channel.
Same Twitch time, same Twitch channel. Twitch.
There we go.
Twitch.
Anyway, sorry everyone that has a twitching problem. I shouldn't have done that. Apologies. I've lost my mind. Thanks to Joe. Blame him. Blame him.
That's what I'm here for.
Anyway, tomorrow, Grinding Gears at 7 p.m. EST. Yes. All the RPGs at their normal times on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Maybe some new stuff coming in. If you're looking for gaming stream, I'll probably get back to some more of that RimWorld with the update that makes it look like it probably works, but it still might not, and we'll find out while we play through it. And that's about it. So have yourselves a great rest of your Saturday. And stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, which we are not. So do not follow us.
But we weren't sane before the everything happened.
Don't let them know that. Anyway, bye.
Bye.